Giordano along with Todd Flesner. We are our co-hosts here for the show. You'll be able to check us out on Channel 26, local cable TV, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. and then a lot of other times during the week, too. So we've been doing this show a long time. We've had some interesting guests, but what we're here to do is bring you some relevant information into the real estate field. So, Todd.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're glad you joined us. And, oftentimes we'll talk about residential real estate here, people buying homes and some of the considerations for that. Today is a little bit different take on that. We're going to be talking a little bit more about investment, using real estate as an investment tool. And so I have an expert in that field with us, Tanya Patterson of Patterson Investments. Thanks for joining us today, Tanya.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me today.
Great.
Thank you.
Terrific. So we normally like to start off, just get to know a little bit about our guests.
Okay.
You're a commercial real estate expert,
Yes.
but tell us a little bit more about your background, perhaps where you grew up, went to school, and some of your experiences that led you to where you are.
Sure, absolutely. Happy to do that. I am from Michigan, so I am from the Midwest, and I have a degree, a Bachelor of Science degree in telecommunications, so I'm from the business world. I also worked in the high-tech industry, Intel Corporation, Apple Computer, so that gave me my technical background, both degree and experience. And I took that experience and brought it to the real estate industry. So I'm from Michigan and love California. So,
Well, what do you like about California then?
what do I like about California? What do I love about California? The weather. From the Midwest, we had either it's too hot or too cold. Here, the weather's perfect. I absolutely love it. The mountains are beautiful. The Midwest is very flat.
Okay.
So we have a lot of mountains here, a lot of nice things to see. So it's beautiful. I love it.
Good. Well, you have a tech background, which is familiar to a lot of our viewers. We have a lot of tech folks in the area, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
But you made the transition into real estate, specifically commercial real estate. What led you that direction?
Very good question. I love working with investors, and coming from the business world, I immediately took a liking to having your money work for you and not working so hard for your money, and taking that money that you earn in the high-tech industry and investing it into real estate so that you can realize residual income. Residual income is wonderful. So you're not working for every single paycheck. You're actually, putting money in, and you're seeing, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000 per month residual income, which is really nice. Takes you into a nice retirement environment. Yes.
Okay.
So,
Great. So what kind of education or experience do you need for the background that you're doing now, today, for your career?
So very good question. You have to have a real estate license.
Okay.
If you work for a broker, you're only required to have a real estate license, which is 3 classes, lots of experience, a couple of years, full-time experience. If you're a real estate broker, you're required to take many more classes than the real estate agent is required to take, as well as a broker exam. In the real estate sales, you have an exam as well. And on the broker side, you have an exam that you have to take, which is much more extensive and detailed. And so I've gone through all of that training, as well as all of the experience, as well as I have a corporation. So I'm incorporated as well.
Terrific. So, as a commercial broker, let's break that down a little bit more. What is it that you do for folks, and do you have a specific area that you really focus on in terms of your area of specialty?
I do. My specialty area is multi-residential properties and units that are 5 units and above.
Okay.
So residential, it's 1 to 4 or single family or condo or townhomes, but for commercial, it's 5 units and above, and that is my specialty. A lot of investors like to invest in that area of real estate because if 1 or 2 units are vacant, they still have occupants in the other units, so they're not losing as much money with the vacancy. So that is my area of expertise and specialty, and I love it because investors can make a lot of money in the business.
A good return rate on their investment dollar, or that you see at the at the higher density properties?
I do. I see it, and it really depends on the location of the property, how much work you need to do to the property. So it still depends on a lot of variables.
Okay.
But simply speaking, or basically speaking, it's better if you have more units, because if you have a few vacancies, you're still going to be okay in terms of your residual income that comes in. So if you're renting out a single family home, you can have a great investment, and those are good as well. But if that renter moves,
Right.
and they're gone for 4 or 5 months, and you have to renovate, you're out of that income for that
Right.
period of time.
Absolutely.
And so if you have multiple units, you're only out of that particular
Okay.
unit's income. So
Okay.
that's my area of
Okay.
specialty.
Good. Now, as you look at real estate as an investment, then as an investment vehicle,
Sure.
are there some specific things that you help folks, or you key on as you look at that vehicle?
Sure, sure. What I love to do is sit my clients down and have a consultation with them, so that I can look at their entire profile, what their goal is, how many properties they're holding, if they're holding any at all, and how much would they like to have monthly coming in as a residual income. And it's different for each person, because one person may have just 1 or 2 properties, or 1 or 2, multi-level residential properties. Someone else may want to live in that property as well as rent out the other units. So each person is different. So I'd like to sit down with them and look at what their long-term and short-term goals are.
Well, where does the tax benefit, the tax advantages, how do you weave that into the process of what you do?
Right. Good question. I always send my people to to
Okay.
CPAs, because, anything attorney-based or CPA-based, I always send them to those special professionals. But that is also different for each person, because if they're doing a 1031 exchange, they can exchange that into another property. If they're buying that property for the first time, it's different for them. So the taxes can be different for each person or investor, depending on how many properties they hold, where they're holding those properties, are they doing an exchange. And that's why I like to sit down with them and look at their entire profile to see what their short and long-term goals are. So yeah.
Terrific. So when you work with folks identifying property, maybe walk us through a little bit about, you say you sit down and you work with them, but are there other things that are an important piece of that process as you work with clients who are looking at investment properties?
Very good question. What's really important is to find out what they're looking for, and once I identify that, we go out and we look for property. So if I'm representing a buyer, we go out, we take a look at the different areas, what the price points are, how is the market doing in that area. And so that is how I work with the buyers. On the selling side, same thing. We look at what is the price point, what is the market doing, where should we list this property. Is this, for a seller, for example, is this particular commercial property something that you need to sell right now because you need to take that money and move it into another property? Or are you fine with waiting until we find the market value or more than market for that property? So it depends on where that individual is on the selling side as well as on the buying side. Are you needing to do a 1031 exchange in 30 days? Have you run out of time here? So if that's the case, we may have to pay a little more for a property than if we have more time to look for a property. Then we can usually get a better.
So Todd and I have talked about some normal real estate transactions.
Sure.
How is your transaction? Is it any different? Is there any elements that would be different than, say, just a residential buy or purchase?
That's a very good question, and the answer is yes. Yes, in that the market is similar, because we have a great job market and we're sort of in our own little island here in the Bay Area with the job market and so on and so forth. But where it's different is the residential side has a lot of regulation. Through the California Association, through the National Association of Realtors, there are a lot of regulations. Where the commercial real estate, we're not regulated by the same body. It's a little different in the regulation. And I don't want to talk too much about that, but it is different, very different.
Okay.
And the MLS...
is the disclosure process any different?
It's different.
Is it? Okay.
It is different,
All
yes.
right.
The regulations are different. The disclosure process is different.
So
The liability is different.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
correct me
very
if I'm wrong,
different.
but I think in the commercial arena, they really are assuming a level of sophistication on the part of the buyer and the seller that
Yes.
perhaps on the residential side where folks aren't doing that as a part of their normal
Good point.
business.
Yes.
Is that an
That's
accurate
true. That
sort
is
of portrayal?
very accurate. It
Okay.
is, yes, that is very accurate.
So it's almost a buyer beware, if you will,
Yes,
if
I
you're
would say
involved
so.
on the commercial end of things.
I would say so. And usually that is the case when you're talking about high dollars.
Mhm.
A lot of times in commercial, we can go 10, 20, 30, 40 million dollars or even more.
Mhm.
So the higher the risk, the higher the reward,
Mm-hmm.
usually the higher the risk. So
Right.
in commercial
Isn't
real
that the-
estate,
That's true with any investment.
it is
Right.
very much so.
So let's talk. Let's hit the pause button here. You talk
Sure.
about the market.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
You have a crystal ball, I'm sure, so you can tell us
hope.
what's going on.
Yes.
Todd and I again we discussed the market conditions. In fact, we'll be
Sure.
doing a little market wrap up here at the end of this segment.
Okay.
What do you see happening in the commercial sector here locally? The generally market. How's it been? What are the trends, and what are you projecting for your clients?
Sure. Very good question. Interest rates are still very good, so that's a positive. So it's a very good time to buy. I do see things stabilizing a little bit, but this is the time of the year that happens. You know, the closer we get to the fall, things tend to taper off, and the holidays, people slow down. But I think we will continue to have a strong real estate market in the Bay Area for commercial because we have a strong job market, interest rates are still low, and again, we exist on an island here in the Bay Area. We are very lucky in terms of real estate and commercial and investments. So I think we'll be fine. I think it'll be very stable, and I think it's a great opportunity for investors to get in and put some money and low interest rates and, get some residual income coming in. So I think we're okay.
Good. So you talked a little bit about some of the factors in the market here. What are some of the challenges, perhaps, with the commercial real estate market or the commercial real estate business in general?
Yeah, very good question, too, and statement, should I say. I think the largest challenge is inventory for commercial, especially units 5 and above. And especially if you get to, 50 units or 100 units. And the East Bay, for example, I have a couple of clients looking in the East Bay. They want 50 or more units. It's almost impossible to find because the market is so strong for multi-residential in the Bay Area. So my challenge is finding those properties for my buyers. No inventory, very low inventory in that segment.
Okay.
Yes.
And what kind of rewards do you get for what you do?
The rewards that I get, oh my goodness, I love it when my investors come to me and say, I have made so much money because of you. Thank you so much.
Do you say,
I love that.
Here's my checking account number. You can put a little bonus there. In my
Exactly. Could you please wire all the funds to Chase count, and here is my account number, or whatever bank it is. Can you please wire those funds here, please? No, but they refer me,
Sure,
and they
sure.
use me over and over
Sure,
again for multiple deals, and that's the reward I get. I love seeing them happy. They can put their kids through college comfortably. They can retire comfortably, work part-time, pursue the hobby that they wanted to pursue, because now they have this residual income coming in through real estate. That is my reward. Yeah.
So it's the freedom that you help people achieve. It sounds like that's
Absolutely. Give them more time to travel, spend time with the family. Yes.
Well, I know a little bit about you personally. That you have a couple of kids who are
I
graduating
do.
here recently, and you have
Yes.
some very successful young men in the family.
I do.
But what are some of the goals and aspirations that you have? I know again that major milestone, getting them off into college. What else do you hope to?
Yeah, accomplish. I want to continue to help people make money because I love that, so that they can, it's not just the money, but to be able to have more time to do the things that they would like to do, whether it's travel or et cetera, et cetera. So I want to continue to do that. That is my love. That is my passion. I also want to continue to help my boys grow and do the things that they would like to do. My oldest son wants to go to law school. So he's currently at UC Irvine right now, and the youngest is at Cal State Fullerton. He starts in the fall. He's going to be a business major and learning 4 languages, so that'll be wonderful. So I want to also instill in them the idea of investments. So those are my goals, is to continue doing what I do because I love it and I'm passionate about it, and to make sure that my boys walk away with that same knowledge. My young men, I apologize. that my young men walk away with that same understanding of how to make their money work for them. So,
Great.
yes.
So, as we close, if folks want to get in touch with you,
Yes.
email address, website, what
Wonderful.
would you like to provide?
Absolutely. Tanya Patterson, real estate broker for Patterson Investments. My phone number is 408-605-5103. My office is on Market Street, downtown. And my email address is Tanya, Tanya, at pattersoninvestments.com.
Terrific.
So,
Beautiful. Thank you
yes.
very much for spending time with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate
Great.
it.
It's been
Thank
great
you
having
so
you.
much. Thank you.
The following is a public service announcement test to determine if you need a fishing license and boat registration before you head out on the water. Let us begin. Are you a pelican? Does this look like your house? Is this your idea of fishing with friends? Do you use your feet as fishing hooks? Are you your own boat? Do you have webbed feet? No, I mean like a... That's the one. Do you want this in your favorite lake? Yuck, yike. No thanks, mister. Regardless how you answered, you need to be licensed and registered because it helps local conservation efforts protect the very natural resources you enjoy boating and fishing in for generations to come. Do your part at takemefishing.org.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Valley Homes on TV. This is a 10-minute wrap-up that we do for the month of, we're in the month of June, so we're going to look at some statistics, Todd, for May.
Terrific.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the lending background. That's your expertise, being a lender, and what are some of the new disclosure requirements now? What buyers, what they need to know? I pulled this RESPA, how about the HUD settlement
Sure.
statement? And
Yeah, there's a new set of disclosures now that come with all the loans that are being done. It combines several forms that there used to be for loan disclosures into one. It's known as TRID, or is kind of the acronym within the industry.
Okay.
But the common name that HUD has given Housing and Urban Development is Know Before You Owe. And so it really has done, I think, a service to consumers in helping to make the disclosures and the information about the loan that you're getting much easier to understand. It's much clearer.
And it wouldn't make sense, I mean, I would understand that it would show how much interest they're going to pay over the life of the
Correct.
20-year loan,
Correct.
30-year loan. I guess those figures can be pretty astounding when you look at it.
Well, yeah, it's a good tool to help you compare different loan options that you might have. But, one of the challenges oftentimes for folks when they, in the old days of disclosure, was knowing exactly what was it going to take in terms of cash to be able to close that transaction. So this helps to make that a little bit clearer for folks to understand exactly what the costs are for getting that particular loan.
Okay, good. And is that done at the onset of the loan when the purchase contract?
Yes, there are 2 points. Up front, you get what's known these days as an LE, all right, a loan estimate.
Okay.
And so when the loan starts, you'll be given an initial loan estimate. And there are many tight tolerances on that, and that fees cannot increase over what is on that loan estimate. And then at the very end, you're required to have what's known now as a CD, or a closing disclosure. And that must be provided to you a minimum of 3 days prior to your signing the loan documents. Used to be that we would get the closing statements, sometimes a half an hour before we were supposed to close, and that was, a lot of stress and pressure for people. They were feeling like they were walking in blind to a closing. So this helps to be helps borrowers to understand exactly what needs to be there in terms of that.
And I think maybe that with
closing.
the whole shakedown of the lending industry over the past 6-7 years, it's probably been a good thing to have that come.
Well, I think, many of the regulations, the changes have been beneficial to consumers, absolutely. It makes it a little bit more difficult on the lender's end in terms of what we have to do regulatory-wise to be compliant, but, I think it's a much better process now for consumers.
Okay, so I want to share with you some housing market outlook information that I got at the general membership at the Board of Realtors. But right before I do that, I know Elrin says we have a short segment.
Okay.
Real quick, what are interest rates at and what are they doing? I know folks are interested in that.
Well, we're in the high threes right now for interest rates in general, 30-year fixed rate loan, dependent upon your situation, of course, but rates are at or near historic lows again. We saw the 10-year bond drop to a level that we haven't seen in the last 2 or 3 years. That's correlated to the lowest rates that we've had historically. So. Some other uncertainty with this Brexit that's in the news, and so lenders are kind of just holding on a little bit to see what the outcome of that is. But there's a potential that we'll see rates dip here just a little bit more, back down to close to our historic lows that we've seen.
Terrific. That helps the buyers, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Great. So real quick, so here's what's going on nationally. We've had a 3-year growth creation in the U.S., 1.4 million new households formed last year, but only 400 new housing units constructed. We're going to see it's going to be epidemic in terms of housing crisis. We know we've got that right here in this valley, though. We have a price recovery now nationally from this year from the recession. Inventory's low. Listing prices actually grew 9% in the year. Rents continue to outpace prices generally in the U.S. Low interest rates enable incredible affordability. Plans to buy a home remain strong, and home price appreciation is at about 6% a year. Of course, we know it's a little better here. Local employment rate market in the local area is 3.74%. That's unemployment, lower than the national rate, which is 5%. Multifamily new construction starts are high, 15% median price increase in Santa Clara County. And Santa Clara County is the 8th hottest real estate market in the United States. How about that?
Well, that's not surprising at all. And I think folks who look around will see signs of that. The strong employment market we have here. When we drive and we see all the traffic, that's a sign.
That's going to be the next problem. Yeah, the traffic.
Absolutely, but it is a strong market here for real estate.
So, real quick, the MLS numbers for Milpitas market. In May of 2015, we looked at an average price single-family home of $921,000, a median price of $912,000. That jumped to last month before last, May of 2016. We're at $943,000 for an average price and $947,500 for a median price. So those numbers have been changing, haven't they? We've dipped into the high 8s to middle 9s, but now we're hovering. Now we're really in the solid 9s, 950 for a single family home. So I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think that shows again the strength of our local market.
And the single family condo market, in contrast to the single family, has really shifted. $632,000 for average price, median price $623,000. That's jumped to average price now of $746,000 and a median price of $775,000 for a condo market. Yeah. You and we should have bought 100 condos about 2-3 years ago. We'll be done, Todd.
Well, yeah. I mean, that if we had the crystal ball that could foresee exactly what's happening with that.
Or the cash.
Or the cash. Well, cash goes a long ways as well.
Yeah.
But yes, that
the market,
portion of the
it
market
continues to stay very, very strong right here in the city of Milpitas.
certainly does. Well, and it's a great place for folks to live, right?
It is great.
So we're glad that folks have joined us. What if folks have questions about the show, an idea for a topic or a guest?
Email me at Giordano, Giordano, DJ @AOL.com, and your contact.
I can be reached email tflesner@opusadvisors.com.
Perfect. See you in a couple weeks.
Terrific.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Tom.